Hello you guys! Our friends from Episcore and Search Plus participate in a 3D printed habitat challenge organized by NASA. The joint team won in the previous rounds and is now preparing for the final event. Autonomous 3D printing of a prototype of a Martian habitat called Mars X House, which will happen in May 2019. The team launched a Kickstarter campaign and prepared cool rewards for those who support the project. T-shirts, patches, stickers, live broadcasting, and backstage videos. Please check out their Kickstarter page in the description. But it's time to start our digest. Tesla. The first batch of Model 3s came to China on the 12th of February. 2 more ships are supposed to come to Shanghai and Tianjin soon. All the while, Tesla is ending their contract with ICO, a company that prepared Model 3s for delivery in Europe. According to the reports, Tesla decided to handle the job itself, in order to speed up the process. ICO will still be involved in some parts, but about 100 workers that were hired for the project were told not to come to work. Tesla got into an accident. The car could have gone straight or taken an exit, but instead went straight in the middle, striking several objects. The driver says that the car was on autopilot, which he could not disengage. Tesla commented on the situation, saying that since they launched Autopilot in 2015, they're not aware of a single instance in which Autopilot refused to disengage. There are 2 ways to do it: by applying torque to the steering wheel or brakes, which overpowers Autopilot at all times. All of this sounds fishy, and it looks like the driver is just blaming Autopilot, which would not be the first time. If anything, Tesla owners complain about the Autopilot being too easy to disengage. We'll wait till we hear more in the story. Tesla finally released Sentry Mode. The feature is only available on Model 3s for now, but it will be pushed to Model S and X as well. When the threat is minimal, like somebody leaning on the car, HAL 9000 from Space Odyssey appears on the screen with a warning that cameras are recording. This is what they actually see. If it becomes more serious, like somebody breaking a window, the car starts blasting music, activates turning signs, and honks, while the owner gets a notification on their phone. As soon as the owner sees it, the car only plays loud music like Toccata and Fugue, or even Keep Summer Safe from Rick and Morty. Elon added that camping mode has been delayed for a month or 2 because Sentry Mode became top priority. Tesla also released Dog Mode. You can now set up the temperature so that your dog will not be too hot or too cold in the car, and people won't have to worry about your pet because they'll see the current temperature on the screen. Tesla keeps testing devices that can help them avoid ICE cars blocking Supercharger stations. A new device was spotted in Taiwan. It scans your license plate and opens up the stall if you're driving a Tesla. It was probably fairly easy to do, since Tesla takes care of registering the cars itself on almost all of the markets, but there's no way to know how well it works yet. And this is Leilani Munter, a professional driver, talking about Tesla. And Joe Rogan being excited about how he doesn't have to visit gas stations. Tesla sent its client a letter saying that his license plates are being recalled due to XYE, that can sound like a slang term from male genitalia in Russian, which is considered vulgar. We're trying to prevent the release of license plates that can be considered inappropriate, but occasionally it happens, says Tesla. Various companies had to send in an autonomous mode disengagement report to the California DMV. It turns out Tesla didn't test any vehicles on public roads in California in autonomous mode or operate any autonomous vehicles in 2018, and thus did not experience any autonomous mode disengagements. Tesla says it conducts testing to develop autonomous vehicles via simulation, in laboratories, or in test tracks and on public roads in various locations around the world, but apparently not in California. Autonomous technology is also running in shadow mode during normal operation of Tesla vehicles, and the company is able to learn from billions of miles of real-world driving. According to Blind, Tesla employees worry about being laid off more than employees of any other high-tech company. More than 8,000 people took part in a survey. Tesla Energy. A heatwave hit Australia and people crank up their ACs, which resulted in a blackout at 45,000 properties. But Carl Prince, a Powerwall owner, only noticed it when the app notified him of the storage system going into backup mode. Who would have had to get in the car and go to the shopping center or the library to stay cool. You can certainly watch TV and leave on 1 or 2 air conditioners, he said. At this point, about 200,000 households in Australia are equipped with solar panels, but only 20,000 have batteries like Powerwall. Keep in mind that if the grid goes out, solar gets turned off too. It is a safety issue. OpenAI. OpenAI announced a GPT-2 language model that generates coherent paragraphs of text so well, they figured it's not safe to release the trained model and instead are releasing a smaller model for researchers. The model trained on a dataset of 8 million web pages. The goal is to simply predict the next word based on the previous text. GPT-2 uses a sentence a person puts in and tries to generate a text adapting to the style and context, and does it pretty well, although sometimes it loses its train of thought or describes impossible things like underwater fires. OpenAI claims the model also performs translations and answers questions, which might be its most impressive feature. You can find text samples at the OpenAI website. Musk added that he hasn't been closely involved with OpenAI for over a year because of the conflict of interest with Tesla when they were competing for the same people, and he also didn't agree with everything OpenAI team wanted to do. He says he has no management or board oversight. SpaceX. Pentagon will review certification of SpaceX launch vehicles. Our objective is to determine whether the U.S. Air Force complied with the Launch Service's new entrance certification guide when certifying the launch system designed for the evolved expendable launch vehicle class SpaceX Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy launch vehicles, said U.S. Department of Defense Deputy Inspector. The review will begin this month, and the reason behind it is not entirely clear. It's important to understand that the launch was successful. SpaceX is protesting NASA's decision to award ULA a contract for its 2021 mission to Jupiter asteroids. Launching on a SpaceX rocket would cost 30% less than with ULA, and this mission is put on hold. The decision has to be made no later than 22nd of May. Right now, SpaceX is preparing for the launch that is supposed to happen on the 21st of February. The Of Course I Still Love You platform is ready, and Mr. Steven was fitted with a net. SpaceX wants to beat its own record this year and launch more rockets than in 2018. Last year, they did 21 launches. Falcon Heavy flight is also scheduled for beginning of March. Astronauts that will fly on a Crew Dragon are going through emergency training in a simulated Dragon capsule at NASA Johnson. Elon Musk showed Raptor engine manifold casting out of Inconel. He also said that Starship and Super Heavy will press tanks autogenously, which is important because there will be no need in helium that costs more than oxygen, which takes up 2/3 of Falcon 9 mass. Henry Cuellar, Democratic Texas representative, defended 5 areas in border negotiations. Among those 5 areas are 2 parks, Santa Ana Wildlife Refuge, and SpaceX launch site in Boca Chica. Well, this was fairly short, wasn't it? We hope you liked our video. Please click like and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to check out our friend's Kickstarter page. Thank you for watching, we'll see you next week.